Hey, this is another video in our KC series, and today we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about taking towers. We went through some of the basics on attacking land and other things in one of the previous videos, and we also looked at the monster count on land and the monster count in towers through the spreadsheet. Remember, the spreadsheet's available in that link on the bottom of these videos. And there's a bunch of different tabs in the spreadsheet, so just click on the Tower Land Info tab and it will tell you all the different details. Remember when we talked about attacking land, the monster count you find at land is going to depend not only on the level of the land but on the distance at which you're attacking it. Between like a distance of like 1 and 10, the monster count's going to be basically identical to what's on the spreadsheet. But once you go beyond that distance, the monster counts can dramatically increase. But towers are different. At towers, you can attack a tower completely across the map, and the monster count is going to remain identical to whatever it's supposed to be for that particular level. So I'm not going to bring up the spreadsheet again, but for a level 1 tower, for example, you're going to get 2 waves, or you're going to get 3 waves of 2 units each, and there's going to be 750 monster count. So let's go through the different waves right now and kind of talk about what we can expect to see at these different waves. Now, the game I'm showing you right now is a Season 2 game, and it's completely different in terms of what you're going to be using to attack these towers, because the Season 2 game, you already have all your units developed. Everything you created from Season 1 you've carried over now, and what you're going to be using in a Season 2 game is going to be completely different than what you'd be using in a Season 1. Attacking a tower in a Season 2 game is going to be much easier because you have your units built, because they have the skills on them, and all you need to do is get the monster count and level them up. But this video is still very useful for Season 1 because we're going to just look at towers in general and what you can expect to find, and what would be a good unit to use against these different towers. So the first tower up is a level 1 tower. And it'd be handy if you printed out the spreadsheet, or if you at least opened up the spreadsheet in a side monitor, in your monitor on the side, and followed along, so you can understand how the spreadsheet works also. So this is a level 1 tower. Now I'm viewing this from our alliance log, and so I only see one of the waves because I was not the individual who beat this tower. If you look in the alliance logs at various attacks, you're only going to see the final wave that was beaten, whether it was lost or won. In this case, we won and the tower lost, but this is going to be wave 3. Only this individual can see the other waves. I guess Sega just does that for whatever reason, but in order to see all the waves, I would need to be the person myself who beat the tower. Alright, so this is the alliance log. He used his CHK to beat a level 1 tower. There was the 2 enemies at the tower. It corresponds with the spreadsheet. Because this is a level 1 tower, you can instantly tell it's level 1 just based on the monster count. 750 monster count. It's a total of 1500 monster count, but it's split by two monsters, so it's 750 each. That's a level 1 tower. There's no rear. Both are level 10. Click on the log. Basically, there's no startups. I mean, you could have a startup, but the enemy basically has no startups for a level 1 tower. And as long as you get the first hit in, you're basically good. Again, this isn't really the best example to use because you're not going to have a CHK at the beginning of Season 1. Alright, so what exactly do you need to beat a level 1 tower? Alright, essentially, you can go out in Season 1 and start fighting a level 1 tower if you have, there's a couple options. The easiest option is you get 2 monsters, two monsters on your side, a front and a rear, or a front and a leader, and they have over, like, let's say about 1,000 monster count each. If you have 1,000 monster count each, they'll both, if you have a leader and a front, they'll both get off 1 hit. They'll generally be faster than the enemies here, and your front, let's say your front goes first, he'll kill this guy because he has 1,000 monster count, assuming his attack's high enough. So like, let's say you boost your attack to 1,000. 1,000 monster count, 1,000 attack, you can one-shot this guy. So he goes first, he'd kill him. This guy would go next, he'd kill him. The towers for level 1 and level 2 are very easy because there's no startup skills. Remember, there are startup skills that can make you go slower. Like, for instance, if these enemies had something called rapid shift, that would give them preemptive attack. Alright? And if you didn't have a corresponding rapid shift or a rapid trick to negate their rapid shift, you would go last and they would get the first hit off. And they could actually do damage to you. Because when you fight a tower, you have to realize you're not just fighting one wave, you're fighting multiple waves. For a level 1 tower, you're going to have 3 waves. So you're going to fight 750 one time, and then after you kill them, you're going to fight them again, at like a different set, but still the same, and then again. Let me go and show you a level 6 wave, or a level 6 tower set of waves. Now a level 6 tower has 9,999 monster count, and it has 7 waves. So here's my team right here. I sent it in, I fought wave 1 and I won, then it fought wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, wave 6, wave 7. So it fought all 7 waves and it won all 7 waves. So when you form your team, you have to make sure that it can survive all of those different waves, because at least early in the season you can't afford monster count loss. It costs a lot of resources to build monster count early in the season, and if you do, if you wipe or even if you lose a lot of monster count, you're not going to be able to survive the later waves, and it's just going to be a waste of resources. So the goal is to make a team that can fight the tower and take no losses whatsoever. Some losses later in the season are acceptable because you've got your resource count up, but early in the season the most important thing is to make a team that doesn't take any losses, because it's gonna take a lot of resources just to build up the monster count required to beat that or to fight that tower, let alone survive the 3 waves and then to go on and fight another tower. Because you're not gonna have all the DP in the world by just beating one tower. You need to continually beat towers. Alright, let's go back to our alliance log and look at that level 1 again. I know where this stuff is because I actually did some homework and I wrote all this stuff down for you guys, so I jumped right to it. So again, in a level 1 and also a level 2 tower, generally the enemies are not going to have any significant startup skills, and a significant startup skill would be a startup skill that would hurt you in some way. Rapid shift would let them go first. That could hurt you. Rapid trick would let them go first probably, and that could also hurt you. Level 1 towers and level 2 towers are not going to have those skills. So generally, as long as you have, like, let's say 25 speed or 50 speed in both of your monsters, you're going to go first. And if you have a leader in the front and about 1,000 monster count each and about 1,000 attack each, this guy will go first. Or it doesn't matter who goes first. As long as your team goes first, this guy would go 1 shot. This guy would have his turn, 1 shot. The wave's over. You've taken no losses. That's what you need to do. Just pick any monster on the spreadsheet that doesn't have, that has a decent attack growth. And I guess this would be an instance where having the spreadsheet out would be handy. Let me see if I can jump in here and show you the spreadsheet. Alright, 1 second. I don't know why Gmail asks you to sign in. I think it's kind of stupid. Alright, so here's the spreadsheet, and I hope it's big enough for you guys to see. Trying to line this up perfectly. Alright, so I'm hoping that it's visible. In the spreadsheet, early in the season, it's important to build. So we're talking about a first season team right here. A first season team, you're gonna need one of 2 things to beat those that level 1 tower with your front and your rear. Your first option is to have 2 monsters with decent speed, about 1,000 attack, and then, this guy back here has to have range. He has to have at least 2 range, because if he just has 1 range, he won't be able to get past this guy. So he'll need 1, 2 range at least in order to get an attack off. Oh, I forgot to mention something. If this guy, let's say this guy has 2 range, and this guy has 1 range, all right? And let's say this guy goes first, and he kills the front, all right? If this guy has 2 range, 1, 2, what's he going to do because this guy's already dead? Well, then this guy moves up. He basically becomes front for purposes of range determination. And now this guy will be able to hit this guy because this guy's already dead. All right. So basically, when you attack a tower, look at your range. Make sure that your leader, if you have a 2-man team, a leader in the front. All right. This guy has a range of 2. This guy has a range of 1. If you have a 3-person team, if you don't know what you're doing, then just follow my advice. This guy needs a range of 3. This guy needs a range of 2, and this guy needs a range of 1. Generally, the best advice to give you is everybody needs to have an attack. There are situations where maybe this guy doesn't have range, but you're just using him for his skills. Like you might have a giant bat back here with rapid trick. His range is going to be 1, so he's not going to be doing anything aside from casting skills. But for somebody that is just starting out and learning how to take towers and learning about skills and stuff like that, the best advice is whenever you assign a team, whether it's a 2-person team or whether it's a 3-person team, make sure everybody, the front has at least a range of 1, the rear has a range of 2, and the leader has a range of 3. So to beat this tower, this level 1 tower, the suggested or the recommended values is 1,000 monster count, 1,000 monster count, 1,000 attack, 1,000 attack, and this guy has at least a range of 2. Alright, so now you have to pick your monsters. Okay, well, how do I pick a team? When you first, to build and to use against the tower, you have to realize that when you first start the game, you're not going to have a lot, you can't, beggars can't be choosers. You're not going to have 1,000 monsters at your disposal to choose from. There's over 300 monsters to choose from, but you're not going to have all of those. You're going to be at the mercy of whatever you get from the pack. Now, one way you can kind of cheat, and it's not really cheating, but it is definitely getting an advantage over other players, is if you've already played a different season, all right? If you've already played, fooled around in a different world, you can use something called silver tickets. And if you scroll down here, you go to your My Page account. And what's really neat about this is My Page is like Sega's version of like Facebook. No one really uses it to like view stuff, but if you wanted to, here's you log into your My Page. And your My Page account is universal, meaning regardless of what world you have an account on, you could make an account on every world, you're only going to have one My Page account. And that My Page is going to be shared amongst all your different worlds. Sometimes you have to click the button a couple times. There we go. Alright, so you pick the KC that you do, that you use. We use Android, so we pick that one. So here's your My Page account. Here's my news feeds. Look, I defeated in Castle. I was killed basically. I obtained a super rare monster. I discovered a ley line. You can't see it. Come on. The focus is screwing up. There. Alright, so it tells you what's going on, and then your friends, it tells you what your friends have been up to, You focus it some more. So you're like, okay, well, what does this have to do with monsters? Well, when you click on somebody's feed right here, I click on their feed. You got to choose how to open it. Look, I clicked on their feed, and I don't know what the feed was, but look, oh, he reached level 40. Wow, I get 3 silver tickets just by viewing this. All right, and if I write a comment like, oh, good job or whatever, I get 1 extra silver ticket. And what happens is, you can click list and view all your friends' feeds, and there's tons and tons of feeds every day. Tons of feeds to click on. Every time you click on a feed, you get your 3 silver tickets, and you can comment if you really want to. But at the end of the day, you can use your silver tickets in your My Page pack. So, right now I have 956 silver tickets, and one draw is 30 tickets. So let's draw from the My Page pack. Look at that. I got a hobgoblin. You can, hey, let's draw again. See what we can get. Living Thorn, Dire Wolf. That was a good one. It teaches attack aura. A mummy. A lot of people use the undead. There's a ghoul, zombie, Windblade. See, all of these monsters are completely free. Oh, that's pretty cool. That was a vampire bat. This is a great monster. Starting out, it's an owlbear. All of these are completely free from just silver tickets. So what you can do, because My Page is account-based and not world-based, is you can accumulate a lot of silver tickets in a prior world, and then when you start a brand new world, cash all those silver tickets in. And I did it one time, and I used like 50,000 silver tickets, and that gave me like 3,000 monsters. It was not that many. I think it was like 3. I don't know. It was close to over 1,000, and it was absurd what I got. Here's the lineup. You can look at all the ones you possibly can get, and you can make a really great team early season with these monsters. This owlbear is a crazy monster to use early season. He's fantastic because he's a beast, and he's for an uncommon card. He has the highest attack, the highest defense, and they both grow at about 15 per level. His intelligence, who cares? His speed is decent. I mean, he's not super slow. His speed is decent, and his base skill is demolition power. It's so great because when every tower has siege or durability, and you have to siege that down. So a lot of times you'll send out your team to kill the waves, and then you'll have to send out another team to siege the actual tower. Well, what's great is you level this thing up, and you put 2 owlbears together in a team, and you don't have to send a second team out to siege the tower. You just send your owlbears out, and with the right skills, they'll kill the they'll kill the enemies at the tower, and they'll also destroy the durability of it. And it'll just capture the tower in one fell swoop. So this is an awesome monster to get. And there's other really good monsters. The lesser dragon's really cool. And these are pretty cool. This guy teaches Defense Spirit. His add skill is Defense Spirit. It's a really handy skill to have when you're taking low level towers. This giant bat is great for linking land. He's a great card to have. So this silver pack can be invaluable when you're making a team early season. So let's go back to our spreadsheet and talk about our teams. What exactly to build early season. My recommendation is you don't have a lot of resources at the early season. I mean, you're very resource limited. You can't just go out and make 9,999 of 2 monsters right off the bat. If you try to do that, you'd hamstring yourself because you wouldn't be able to you level up your facilities because you would have spent all your resources on monster count, and there's no way you'd have enough monster count to build a lot of monsters. So the goal is to find monsters that are cheap resource-wise. So if you look over here at the resources, this is the amount of wood, stone, iron, food required to build 1 monster count. So the total of all the resources to build 1 monster count is 27. And this is just kind of a gauge at how expensive this particular monster is. So let's zoom in. So you look down here, we have 27. Now rares get more expensive, 37, 37, but 23, 27, 27. These are uncommons, and that's a super rare right there. It doesn't show up well on the video monitor, but that's a super rare. This is a rare. But we're all in, the uncommons are in the 20s. That's great. But now if you scroll down, you see, let's see, you see uncommons 36, 36, 36, and super rares 50, 40, 40, 26, 52. And what we're looking at is, these are demi units. So the beast units up top, hope you're following along and not like, what the hell is this guy talking about? All the beast units are the cheapest resource-wise in the entire game. 27, not looking at rares. You don't want to choose a rare monster because you do want to level up your skills, and early season you don't have any DP, so you can't buy, you might get a rare bat, and that's great, but you can't afford to buy more rare bats. It would just cost too much DP. So you want to stick to your uncommon stuff, because you can acquire more of that fairly easily or cheaply at the auction house. So 27, 23, 27. But if you get down here to non-beasts, these are demi units, 40, 40, 40, 36, 40. So look at this. Instead of like 7, 7, 4, 11, it's 0, 12, 14, 14. And we're going down here. This is probably what, either these are demons and then dragons. 40, 52, look at that, 91, 52, 40, 40. So everything's really high. Now, I'm going to show you something. You're going to be like, you don't need to do that for me. But I'm going to do it anyways. So, we want to fight that level 1 tower. So let's take our 27 monster count, right? And we need 1,000, or a 27,000, that's 27 resource cost. All right, and I know it's broken down by food and whatever, but this will just give you an idea for a comparison. It's split 4 ways, but this is the total that would give you an idea. So generally, a uncommon beast requires 27 resources. Now you multiply that by 1,000. All right, monster count, because that's what we want. 1,000 monster count. It's going to cost you 27,000 total resources. We want 2 of those, right? So 54,000 resources total to build that team to take that level 1 tower. All right. So how much, if we're talking about a demi unit, which is like 40 resources, would it cost? So 40 resources times 1,000 monster count times 2, 80,000. So to build your team of beasts to fight that tower, you're going to need 54,000 resources. But to build that same team of like an undead or a demi or a dragon or whatever, you need 80. So that difference right there, where's my plus minus? That's a difference of 26,000 resources. That 26,000 could be better used putting it back into leveling up your labs and your facilities. A lot of people just waste it on these higher tier units right off the bat, and that's just a waste. Eventually you'll want to build an undead team or a demi team or a dragon team, but when you first start, resources are so precious, you want to build a beast team. Now, I can't give you all of the advice because I have my own way of doing things. There's other ways to make teams that will work, but the goal is, like I said, is to get some kind of a beast team. And you're not really, if you don't have any silver tickets, you're kind of at the mercy of what they give you. So let's look at some of the beast stats, because beast teams are cheap for a reason. Their stats suck. Like, okay, here's a bat, for instance. You can't see what I can see. There's a bat. Let's actually look at the uncommon bat. The common stuff is just way too bad. Here's an uncommon bat. It's 1.5 cost. All right, that's a good cost early season if you're not buying cost with CP. But the attack growth is awful. It's 7.7. It starts at 295. So this is another important thing to think about. All right, so we want to get 1,000 attack. How can we do that? Generally, when you fight a level 1 tower, you want to be about level 10, because that's about what level the enemy is going to be. Look at the spreadsheet and look at what level the enemy is, and that's about the level you want to be at when you attack the tower. If you're too low of a level, you're not going to have enough stats to get what you want. So the bat had a base attack of about 290, and the growth was 7.7 per level. All right. Now you get, let's say you're level 12 when you fight that level 1 tower. All right. Level 12 is going to give you, I don't know if you get 5 points initially or not. level 12 gives you, I guess, 11 levels worth of stat growth. So you get 5 points. That's 55 points to distribute. So that 11 levels will give you 55 points. So let's see how far we can boost up our attack. 55 times 7.7 is 423. Add it together, 713. All right. So you're not at 1,000 attack yet, and you haven't even put any speed into your unit yet, and you're stuck at a 14 speed. So it's going to take you forever to get anywhere. I mean, just for decent travel, you at least want to be at 50 speed. So what do? I mean, you can level up your team more, but again, it's harder to level up your team if you don't have enough monster count. Because it's just like any RPG. If you keep hitting the same land again and again and again, it's not going to be good for you, because you're not going to get enough EXP. So you have to hit the next land up. But to hit the next land up, you need more monster count. So you really have to choose your monsters wisely. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of stuck for a while and not able to take those towers. So we want something with a better attack growth. So here's a Borogov, and its attack growth is pretty good. It has 317 to start, which is pretty awful, but it's got a 10 attack growth. That's better than the 7.7, but it's not ideal. So what has a higher attack growth? Now there's some rares in here, but we don't want to deal with them because, like I said, they're more expensive, and you're not going to be able to acquire enough of them early season. And that's the other thing too. Beast cards are very easy to acquire. People just trash them. They'll keep the undead cards or the dragon cards or whatever, and they'll trash this stuff. So this stuff is dirt cheap at auction. You can buy it for 11 DP and make a really good team out of it. Dirt cheap. Let's see. Well, here's a giant bat. It has rapid trick, 9.46. It's not the best, but the speed is actually pretty good. So a giant bat's a pretty good unit. A vampire bat is also really good. It has quick shift, and that's not really that useful of a skill because, again, it's not going to beat a rapid trick, and it's also not going to beat a rapid shift. But if you look at its stat growth, it has 478, so it's halfway to 1,000. It grows by 11.33 per level, and the speed is insane. And this is This is the fastest uncommon beast card. This is the fastest uncommon card in the entire game. So you're looking at 1.76 in a base of 16. This is a great card. The only suck is that the base skill is pretty awful. But that's another important thing I wanted to mention. When you pick your team, you want to make sure that the base skill is not an active skill, unless it's an active attack. Because if it's like, let's say you pick Acid Mist up here on this guy Trash. Right. This Acid Mist is not an attack skill. I don't think it is it? I never use it, so let's go to skills. Acid Mist. Yeah, look, Acid Mist, reduce attack of enemy in range for 5 turns. So one of the downsides to using a card with an active skill that is not an attack skill is in an early tower hunting part of the season, you don't want to lose monster count. And if it's your turn to attack and you're counting on your attack to one-shot this guy, otherwise you're going to take damage, and he casts his Acid Mist, he's used up his turn, and he hasn't done any damage to the enemy. So you definitely don't want to pick a monster, especially in the early season, with an active skill that's not an attack skill. But you can pick a skill that's a startup skill, like the Vampire Bat. His startup skill is Quick Shift. That's a startup skill. It's not a very good startup skill, but at least it guarantees 100% guarantee that when it's his turn, he's going to attack. Using a normal attack. The owlbears right here, you can see the demolition power, is a base skill. 590 is the base attack. Increase at 15.4. That's the highest for any uncommon beast. Defense is also insane, and the speed is very respectable at basically 1 per level start, and with a base of 9. And this is the final siege column. Out of all the beasts, he is the highest siege beast. So if you can get your hands on a couple owlbears, that's fantastic. So what do you do? Because one of the problems with beasts are all of them, aside from a rare or two in a super rare, have a range of 1. So how do you make a beast team? How do you make a beast team of 2 monsters when the guy in the leader position is not going to be able to reach? Well, that's when you can use a skill called burst range. And burst range is a really cool skill. Skill list. Burst range continuously increases range by 1. Skill range effects depends on monster. Attack also increases depending on skill level. When you first start taking level 1 and level 2 towers, you don't need an attack skill, meaning you don't need an assault shift or an assault progress. All you really need is 1,000 attack and an attack aura or an attack spirit. So when you put burst range on one of your monsters, not only does it give you 1 more range, so your range 1 monster now can be placed in the leader position if you have a team of 2 or 3, or I guess a team of 2. You have a team of 2, not only can you put him in the leader position and he's going to be able to reach the enemy front, but also his attack's going to go up. And it's going to go up, like I said before in one of the videos. A burst range is basically like an aura, so it's going to go up 1.8 plus 0.12 times your level. So ultimately, if you have a level 10 burst range, your attack is going to be increased by a multiple of 3. So if your attack's 1,000, it's going to turn into 3,000. And also burst range, the amount of range that burst range gives you increases by the level 2. So at level 1, burst range is going to give you +1 range. So if your units already has a range of 1, let's go back to the owlbear and look at him. I have to restart. Your owlbear has a range of 1. You put burst range level 1 on him, and he's now going to have a range of 2. Now, if you increase the level of burst range up to, I believe it's 5. So burst range now is level 5. He will now have a range of 3. So it gives 2 additional range to his already existing 1 range. And then finally, if you level it to, like, I think it's 7 or 10, or I think it's 7, his range becomes 4 because it gives an additional 3. Let me see here. So here's a guy I used last season. Demolition power, I leveled him up. I leveled it up because you can, the siege amount increases. It doesn't show over here. Your siege will always just increase with level, but this is just calculated behind the scenes. And the same with range too. I have this gives +3 additional range, but it doesn't show over here. And the reason it doesn't show is simply because, it's all done behind the scenes. But now he has essentially a range of 4. I believe it's at level 7 that the range goes up to +3. It could be at level 10 though. I'll have to check that. But like I said, this acts not only as an aura, but also as an aura for attack, but also as a range increaser. So he has 590 attack. Let's see what the aura would be then. So his attack is 590, and it's a level 7 burst range. And this is an aura. So 1.8 is the base, 0.12 times the level 7, you add it to your 1.8, and you multiply it by 590. So he has a base attack of 590, that attack turns into 1557. And we didn't even have to increase his attack at all. So we could dump all the points into speed for this guy. So having an attack aura or having an attack spirit on your monster is critical. Alright, so I don't know if we've got off on a tangent or not, but the one way to take a tower, level 1 or level 2 tower early season is to use 2 monsters, a leader and a front, with 1,000 monster count each. But making those 1,000 monster count is still going to cost you resources. So there's another trick you can do. And let's go back to the level 1 tower. 10:14. 2:52 a.m. Jeez, how far back did it go? Oh. Alright, I found it. So the one way, the kicking the horse way that I've already explained a million times to beat your level 1 tower or your level 2 tower. Your level 2 is going to have 3 monsters in it at 1,500 each. I'll show you that in a second. The way to do it is, for a level 1 tower, is to have a leader and a front and 1,000 monster count each and 1,000 attack each, and enough, range to range of at least 2 here, or so you put burst range on him, and preferably you use a beast, because the beast will have the 26,000 less resources than using a higher tier monster, and you'll get first attack as long as you're over 25 speed, and you'll easily win. But there's even a cheaper way to do that. What happens when you go first is you're going to get 2 attacks. Your front guy's going to attack, and your leader's going to attack. And what happens when they go, level 1 tower doesn't have any special skills on it, like multi-attack skills. This CHK does. He has a continuous attack, and it hits between like 1 and 4 different times. And so it just takes at everybody. But there's a chance of doing it, so it could fail, and this CHK could in fact take losses. So this is still a gamble, even though this is a higher level, much higher tier monster than these guys. It's still a gamble just going solo right here. But a level 1 tower is not going to have any multi-hit skills. They're just going to hit. This guy's going to hit once. This guy's going to hit once. So the trick is, if you only want to use 1 monster and guaranteeing no losses, and use a beast, is you get an owlbear in there or a vampire bat, and you put on an attack aura or attack spirit, and you also put on Mirage Shift, and you level Mirage Shift up to like 9 or 10. And let me show you what Mirage Shift does. We haven't really talked about a skill other than attack boosting skills, but it's time we start doing that, right? All right. Mirage Shift is one of the fundamental skills. Everybody uses it because it's just so handy. What Mirage Shift does, it's a startup skill. Alright, so it's going to go at startup before the turns. It applies barrier to all friendly monsters at the start of combat. And this is, like I said, success is based on the monster, so it's based on the level. It's always going to show 100. If you level this up to 10, it's always going to fire. It's going to fail on one of your guys maybe like 1 out of 10 times. So it's very reliable when you level it all the way to 10. What Mirage Shift is going to do, let's go back to our log. It's really important to analyze these logs and realize what's happening. I mean, it's not magic that's going on. There's, it's math, it's mechanics, and it's just easy stuff. You just have to actually pay attention. When I first started, I was like, I kind of disdained looking at logs, but it's just so important that you'll become such a better player if you analyze this stuff. At a level 1 tower, like I said, as long as you have 25 speed, you're going to go first. They're not going to have rapid trick or rapid shift on a level 1 or a level 2 tower. So for a level 1 tower, you only need 1 monster. And let's say you have an owlbear here, and it has Mirage Shift, and it's got over 25 speed, and it has 1,000 attack. When you go, and it has 1,000 monster count. When you're going to go first, and you're going to take out, let's say, the front. If you don't have burst range, all you can reach is a range of 1, so you'll take out the front. So this guy dies. Then it's the leader's turn. Now the leader's going to attack you, but your Mirage Shift is going to have procced, alright? And you're going to have a barrier up. Now Mirage Shift protects from 1 attack, so that 1 attack is going to hit you and do 0 damage. And then what's going to happen is turn 2 will start, and then you'll attack and kill the leader. Let me see if I have an example of Mirage Shift proccing. I think I have to go to my logs to show you that. Let's see here. All right. So this is some land I attacked. This is a level 9 land, and this is called a. I didn't want to use the proper word. I wanted to use an echo, and that's the Japanese word. This is an echo. It's a very low monster count team that uses essentially some magic to take out incredibly high monster count. So this is like 15,000 monster count each, and this is 1 monster count, 1 monster count, 100 monster count, and it can kill them all. We can talk about echoes later, but I want to show you Mirage Shift in action. So my dragon casts Mirage Shift, and remember, it's always going to cast. The startups always cast. Now whether or not it actually sticks is a different story. But see, like, this is a startup skill, defend trick, and it try to reduce my defense. Now it always casts, but it didn't stick to my dragon right here. It stuck to these guys, but not this guy. So I've leveled my Mirage Shift up very high. It's a 10 basically, and so it's always going to stick for me. So it applies this barrier, and then watch what happens when I get hit. I didn't get hit, I killed everybody. Okay, that's not a good example. Let's try the next example. Where's my Mirage Shift? Alright, there's my Mirage Shift. Again, it's stuck on all my team. Now we're going to go down here. Alright, look. This guy did Drunken Roar. Now that's an attack skill. It's an active skill and it's also an attack skill. And what happens, because I have Mirage Shift on, my barrier nullified the attack. Alright, now it only protects you against 1 attack, so it causes the barrier to break. But I suffer 0 damage, alright, because I had a barrier on. Now this confuse is just a result of this Drunken Roar, but that's what Mirage Shift does. So like Maelstrom, here's another attack. Now my this guy also had a barrier, so it nullified the attack, it broke the barrier, but he got 0 damage from it. Now my dragon, alright, my lesser dragon, already had his barrier broken, so he does suffer 1 damage. Alright, but this dragon over here, he didn't have his barrier broken. So here it breaks, but it nullifies the attack. So a barrier protects you against 1 attack, but that's invaluable because there's only so many attacks in a fight. So if you can get off the first attack and then be protected against the second, you're going to win. Felt like I've beat this tower to death talking about it. So we'll wrap this tower up. Level 1 tower, your 2 options. Your 2 monsters, a leader and a front. This guy has range, 1,000 monster count each, 1,000 attack each, and in 25 speed, and you'll win. This guy will go first, for example. He'll kill front. This guy will go second, and he'll kill the leader. These guys obviously can't attack because they're dead and the wave's over. You've taken 0 losses. But the trick is, if you can get Mirage Shift, is to have 1 monster at 1,000 monster count with 1,000 attack, 25 speed, Mirage Shift, and an attack aura on there, or an attack spirit, and you'll kill the front, or you could even kill the leader if you have a range of 2 or more. So if you put burst range on this guy and Mirage Shift, you could just one-shot the leader, because if you kill the leader, and you don't kill the front or the rear, kill the leader, the wave's over. You don't have to kill the front or the rear. It's actually more beneficial if you have a range of like +3 on here, because then you can completely skip these guys. Now it's not guaranteed; it's always a chance. Who go hit. If this guy has a range of 2, for instance, he might hit this guy. He might hit this guy. It's just a gamble. But 50% of the time, he's going to be hitting this guy if he has a range of at least 2. But if you have Mirage Shift on there, he'll go first and one-shot this guy in turn 1. Then in turn 1, this guy will attack him, but his barrier will nullify the attack. And then turn 2 will happen, and in turn 2, this guy goes first again and kills the leader. So what that does, go back to our calculator, we had 27 times 1, 2, 3. Swap. That's your demi, your undead, your spirit, your whatever, your non-beast unit for 2 monsters of 1,000 monster count each. This is your 2 monsters that are beasts of 1,000 monster count each. Oops. That's your 1 guy with Mirage Shift, your 1 beast with Mirage Shift. So look at the difference. Again, resources are so important early game. If you can get a hold of Mirage Shift and teach it early season, but you have to level it up. If just teaching it's not enough. So if you pick a rare monster, like let's say you pick a rare beast, like a Guy Trash, a rare one, it has good attack growth and it's got a good base skill. All right, and it's got a good, everything else is good on it. But the problem is it's expensive. And you're not going to have the DP early season to level up Mirage Shift high enough. You might have it later in the season, but in the first couple weeks, you don't have the DP. So you need to stick to your uncommon, your UC cards, and try to make a team out of them. The teams that I like the best are early season. If you have the silver ticket, so if you get really lucky at auction, is you have an owlbear, and you put just an attack aura from your direwolf on this guy. So he has attack aura now and his base of demolition power. And this guy, you simply put on burst range. And then you can also put on a speed aura on each of them to make them move faster. Alright, so owlbear, burst range, speed aura, attack aura, and speed aura. And that would let you take your level 1 tower really easy. It would also do all the siege damage you needed for it. Alright, that's level 1. Let's go ahead and look at level 2 now. PM, that's what we're looking for. Alright, right here. Now we get into teams that are really unfair. There's no way you're going to have this first season. If you do, you're going to get all the DP first season. It's going to be phenomenal, but this is a crazy monster. We'll talk about him later, but we're just going to be looking at the enemies right now. So this is your level 2 tower. Now level 2 tower has all 3 monsters in it. Now level 2 and level 3, 4, 5, 6 and Debris all have 3 monsters in them. Only the first tower level 1 is missing your rear. So this has 3 monsters at 1,500 monster count each. The level's 15, so you want to be about level 15 or higher. You go into the log. You do see Rapid Trick in here and some other stuff, but the enemies, the NPCs, don't really have leveled skills, so these will fail a lot. And even if they don't fail, they're really not going to do much to you. So to take a level 2 tower, as long as you have your 1,500, or I'm sorry, your 1,000 attack, that should be enough attack. But you're going to need more monster count. For a level 1 tower, you need, I'd say, at least 1,750 or 2,000 monster count each. So you'd need 2,000 monster count, 2,000 monster count. But realize, I'm making this up right now because I don't have this here, I have something different. But imagine I have a 2,000 monster count unit here and a 2,000 monster count unit here. Now let's say I go first. I have the speed, so I go first. I go first and I kill front. Alright. This guy goes second, he kills rear. But now it's leader's turn, because leader's still alive, and it's still turn 1. So I can't attack again because I only have 2 guys. We're using our imagination here. I only have 2 guys. I only get 2 attacks. So it's his turn now, and he can really do some serious damage to me. All right. So this is where, when you take a level 2 tower or above, it's important to either have a team of 3, 2,000 monster count, 2,000 monster count, 2,000 monster count. All right. Or use Mirage Shift. And this is another example of where Mirage Shift is very important. 2,000 monster count is going to cost you 80,000 all by itself, 80,000 resources. Remember, if you're using a non-beast. If you're using a non-beast here, here, and here, 80,000, 80,000, 80,000 resources. That's 240,000 resources just to do your level 2 tower. All right. If you use Beast, you're looking at 54, 54, 54, 1,000. Right, but that's still 150. But if you can get rid of the rear and just use 2 monsters, 2 beasts, you're looking at 108,000. How do you do that? You use Mirage Shift. All right. So again, this guy would have burst range. All right, and heck, put burst range on him too. And the reason being is you can get to the leader quicker. Again, sometimes you won't kill front because you'll skip them. Because like if this guy has a range of 3, 1, 2, 3, he can attack leader right off the front. It's not guaranteed; it's a chance. But still, the more chances you give yourself to win, the less likely it is that you're going to take a hit and take losses. So have your owlbear, or have your vampire bad and your vampire bad. Put burst range on both of them. Put Mirage Shift on one of them. And, I don't know, put whatever else you want on the other one. Alright? And that way, this guy will attack and kill front. This guy will attack and kill rear. The leader will try to attack, but your barrier will nullify it. And then turn 2 comes, and this guy will attack and you've won the wave. So level 1 tower and level 2 towers, very simple. You don't even have to worry about skills. Now let's look at a level 3 tower. Actually, I got one more level 2 just to look at. So you had this undead team. You're going to get different teams in your different waves. 237, 327. So this is another wave of NPCs at a different level 2 tower. You can tell it's level 2 obviously because it's 15, 15, 15. 100 and also level. You click on it. This is where the enemies start to get skills that like attack skills. So this is Typhoon that this guy has. A normal attack. So stuff starts changing at level 2, but it's nothing that just a normal team with attack auras, some burst range, and a Mirage Shift can't handle. But now when we get to level 3 towers, that's when stuff really starts to change. 542. Now at a level 2 tower, then we're talking about this is going to cost you a lot of resources. Because you need probably 4,000 monster count, alright, on each guy in order to successfully beat it. Now again, these are higher tier. This is not what you're going to see early season. Because if you actually look at the log, look at what this is us, the green guys. Look at what we've casted. We've casted these skills and they've all stuck. So these are high level skills that have all stuck on here. So we can get away with using less monster count than what I'm recommending right now. But again, this is Season 2 we're talking about. If you're looking at Season 1, it's going to be a little bit different. Season 1, you want 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 monster count. You can still get away with Mirage Shift here, realize. Alright? But you can also run into guys that are going to do multi-attacks on you. Let's see here. We don't see it here because we killed him so quickly. But on your level 2 tower, you saw a Storm Rider over here that cast Typhoon. And the problem with that is, that's a multi-hit skill. So like, let's say, I believe his skill is Round Bloom. Round Bloom, when cast, hits all your guys. And so if you have a barrier, it's gonna nullify the attack, but take away his barrier, take away his barrier, and take away his barrier. All right. So like, let's say you don't fully kill this guy when you attack. All right. And his skill procs next, he'll take out your barrier. So if this guy then attacks you, you could die. You could take serious damage. So as we go up in towers, you're going to run into more and more multi-attack skills you have to be careful of. So for your level 3 tower, you probably want to start running with 3 monsters. It's going to be more difficult to get away with a leader in the front. The most important thing to realize on a level 3 tower, and this is critical, you're going to run into these high defense front units. Right? This stone golem has high defense, and if you look back at the videos that we talked about, the different stats, essentially your attack needs to be higher than his defense in order to do damage. I forget the exact number, but with the attack spirit or attack aura calculated in, you need about, I think, 3,000 or so attack. Alright, so you need to be at like at least 1500 or 1800 attack, and then you put on your attack aura, and you might level it up a couple levels. And every monster's, every guy in your team is going to do that, because if this guy attacks the golem right here, and his attack's really low and doesn't have the auras, he's not going to do any damage to him. It's going to be a wasted attack. So in your level 3 towers, you're going to have to find a way to deal with this high defense, and the best way to deal with it is simply using a defend trick or defend disturb. So our team, the players' team, has defend disturb. You're not going to get defend disturb early in season 1. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be too costly. If you get really lucky, you could, but most people are not going to have that. They're going to have defend trick, and so your defend trick is going to reduce the defense, and the amount of reduction can also indicate how high their defense was. So we can tell that the Steam Shooter had very low defense because he didn't get much reduction. So even if you didn't cast defend disturb on him, you'd still be able to do a strong attack on him, even with like 1000 attack on your team. But this defense was decreased a lot, so you can tell his defense was very high. If you didn't even have over 2300 attack, there's no way you could do maximum damage. Your damage would be capped at about 300. So to do maximum damage, you're going to need either much more attack than he has defense, or you're going to need your defend disturb or your defend trick. Let's look at one more level. But aside from that, everything else still applies. You have enough attack, get enough attack on your team, get 4,000 monster count, realize who's going to attack when. This guy has a multi-attack skill, so your Mirage Shift and simply 2 guys might not work, so you probably need 3 guys. Everybody probably needs range. This guy has 3 range, 2 range, 1 range. That way, during turn 1, if you go first, he'll kill somebody, he'll kill somebody, he'll kill somebody. That's the goal. And also, in order to do that, you have to break through his defense. And you're going to need your defend trick or your defend disturb, or you're going to need an assault shift. An assault shift will also do the trick. Oops, let's go back to our... Looking at level 3 right now, we need 9:28 p.m. It's a long video, isn't it? Long video. Hope you guys appreciate this stuff, though. Hope it comes in handy. So we fought the same kind of team. We don't have your ranger in here. We have this imp, but we still have the golem in front. There's other things that can be in front. There can be a minotaur up here, and they just have really high defense. But this team is not a season 1 team. This is a season 2 team with good skills on it. This guy's got a crazy base skill that can really kill everybody here. But as you can see, he has 0 monster count because he was killed in an earlier wave. So he probably had Mirage Shift or something on him. I think he has Rapid Trick as a base skill. But so it's kind of dangerous right now because the player is not running with any any first strike capability, because I don't see anything in here, but you can start to run into Rapid Shift and Rapid Trick on this team, and that can prevent you from going first if you're just relying on your base speed. Alright, let's look at a level 4 tower. We have 3:44 a.m. on 10/14. Alright, so your level 4 tower is now going to have 55,000 monster count at each monster. And so again, you want to be at like 6,000 monster count. And the also, the reason for that is, if you have an assault trick on there and you're going to trick their attack, alright, assuming they don't have an assault shift, alright, you're going to trick their attack and they're going to be at below base attack, so they're just going to do minimum damage to you, which will be about 300 damage, alright, per hit. And so you still want a buffer though of like, if these guys are 5,500 monster count, you want to be at 6,000, because if you do get hit once, you still want to be able to one-shot them. because again, you're relying on one-shotting these guys, and if you can't one-shot them, they're going to get an attack in on you. And at a level 4 tower, you have 5 waves to get through. So as your monster count whittles, I think I mentioned this before, normal attack is the maximum damage you can do at normal attack is 1.1 times your monster count. So if your monster count is 6,000 attack, or I'm sorry, if your monster count is 6,000 monster count, the maximum normal attack you can do, all right, is 6,600 damage. So if in wave 1 you get hit and you lose 600 monster count, then in wave 2 the maximum damage you can do, so if you were at 6,000, you're now you've lost 600 monster count, you're now at 5,400. The maximum damage you can do, let's go to our calculator so I don't make a fool out of myself. You're at 6,000 in wave 1, but you lose 600, and now you're at 5,400. The maximum damage you can do is 5,940. But let's say you lose 1,000 monster count, so you're at 54. Now you lost 1,000 in that wave. So in wave 3, all right, the maximum damage you can do is 4,800. Now you're attacking guys at a 5,500 monster count. It's going to take you more than one attack to kill these guys, to kill one guy. And what that's going to do is allow them another opportunity to hit you, another opportunity to whittle away your monster count. So it's imperative to have some extra padding and have more, go into the first wave with more monster count than the enemy, because you want to leave some room in case a couple hits get on you. And because once you go below their monster count, if their monster count is 5,500, once you go below 5,500 on your side, once you have like 5,000 monster count, it starts to get really dangerous, because you might have 4 more waves to go, and any hit is gonna, let's say you lose 2,000 monster count. Now the maximum damage you can do is 3,300, so it's going to take you twice as many hits to kill these guys, because you have lower monster count now. So having the proper monster count is imperative. It's completely based on what their what the tower's monster count is. So we're at a level 4 tower right here, and stuff starts to get pretty hairy here. You're going to find guys with very fast speed. You're going to find rapid shift. You're going to find rapid trick. You're going to find very high defense. This guy has very high defense. Let's see if we can find another level 4 that uses some skills. 40. So this is another level 5 or level 4 right here. See, I don't see any startups on here, so he got lucky. But you do have this. This troll has a very high defense. So again, going into this battle, you're going to want to have defend trick or defend disturb, or an assault shift. To, defend trick on this guy to reduce his defense, or an assault shift to boost these guys' attack. Have one of those in order to get through the defense. We'll look at one more. So this is another set of monsters you can meet at a level 4 tower. And so in this instance, the giant bat has rapid trick. All right, and that's a strong decrease in the speed. So unless you have a way to overcome that, through a rapid shift or a quick shift, you're not going to be going first. And so, if you're no longer going first, each one of those guys can get a first attack off, and your monster count's going to get whittled down. So when you start attacking a level 4 tower, level 1 and level 2 towers, and you don't have to worry about much. Level 3 towers, you want to start having a defend trick or an assault shift. Level 4 towers, you want to get your rapid shift on there. You want to get a rapid trick or a quick shift. You want to be faster. You want to get the first attack off, because they're going to have stuff to prevent you from doing that, in addition to the high defense in the in the monster count. All right, let's move on to the cream of the crop, the really hard stuff. a level 5 towers and a level 6. 20. Here's a level 5 tower. Level 5 towers get really hard. These are towers in Season 1. Again, we're using Season 2 monsters. You know, this is a Season 2 example, but in Season 1, you don't want to be doing a level 5 tower until like 2 months into the season. Alright, unless you get blessed and get an ASP. But, I mean, this is hardcore stuff right here. So, you know, this is the enemy going first. The enemy Siren goes. He stuns my ASP. Now, if I had, like, if my ASP cast skills, like if he had, you know, a Rapid Shift, a Mirage Shift, and an Assault Shift on him, he would be stunned. And so what that means is all his stuff cannot go in during startup. All his startup skills are not going to go. And so, you know, this is the Siren wave is a really dangerous wave to meet. And they're going to boost their defense now. So now I need a way to trick their defense. I need a defend trick, or I need a really high attack boost in order to bypass this. Now he casts Mind Shift because he's going to come down here and boost his attack through Assault Shift, and you know really bump it up there. And also the Storm Rider has something called Typhoon on it, and a Typhoon's going to hit. It's a skill, an active skill that's going to attack 2 of my guys at once. And with an attack boost on here from the Assault Shift and a Mind boost from the Mind Shift, you know, he's going to basically one-shot these guys. So I need to get first hit, and I need to kill him before he kills me. And obviously the starting monster count is incredibly high. It's 8,000. So you have to know what you're doing in order to beat these towers. We'll look at one more. Here's another level 5. This is like a high defense team. And you're going to have Round Bloom. No, you're going to have something else on him. Defend Trick. So he's going to try to trick my defense, make me more vulnerable, while boosting his. And so I'm going to need either a very, very strong attack on my end, you know, an Assault Shift, or I'm going to need to reduce his defense by having a Defend Trick. But their defense is already high, so like even if I have a Defend Trick on my end, it's just going to get him back to normal defense, which is still very high. So I need either 2 Defend Tricks to get him back to base and then get him below base, or I need to Defend Disturb, which is going to, you know, get him back to base and reduce all in one. All right, or I need a very, very strong Assault Shift on my end. So the enemy cast Typhoon, and it only got one of my guys because my other guys were already dead going into here. And now let's go to a level 6. And these are just some examples of the monsters you'll see at the towers. I forget how many variations per tower level you can find, but there's quite a bit. So let's look at a level 7 tower. Level 7 is just nuts. Like if you can beat a level 6 tower. If you can beat a level 6 tower, you're ready for a debris team. So in here, they're casting Mirage Shift to get the barrier. They're casting Rapid Shift. They're trying to confuse me with Drunken Roar, which is going to make me attack my own team. See, I have Confuse applied on myself. This guy has Maelstrom on him. What that basically does is it removes all of my buffs. So if I had an attack boost on here, if I had a barrier, if I had a guard, if I had all kinds of stuff on myself, this would his skill. It's not a startup; it's an active skill. His active skill would remove all of that, and it would attack me. It's a crazy skill. This is just a high defense team with Round Bloom on it, I believe. But it's going to trick my attack, trick my defense, to make me, you know, easier to attack, and I'm not going to do much damage to them. It's also going to have, they're also going to have First Strike, and they're going to have a lot of damage. I mean, if you don't have ways to counteract this stuff, you're going to die at your level 6 and your level 5. Mirage Shift, Rapid Shift, going through the waves here. So the waves are repeated, you know. We saw this wave at wave 1. I think this is wave 4. You know, here's wave 5. Same monsters. It's not guaranteed. This is wave 2 we already saw, but it's, you know, wave 6 and wave 7. Oh, and there's, I'm sorry, that's wave 7 right there. And we see that this is the Undyne team, and so it has a Siren in it again to stun me, but also the Undyne skill is crazy. Let's see if it works. So like this is turn 2 right here, and Illuminate Tear, it procs and it lands on one of the allies, so it landed on itself. Recovered all the monster count, negates any ill effects like curse or stat effects like curse. It negates the defense reduction, and it also increases defense, and then it applies guard. So it's very hard for certain teams to beat this wave because of this Illuminate Tear skill. Alright, let's see if there's anything else I haven't talked about in regards to towers. One thing you're going to have to remember, I've already told you this numerous times, but once you beat the final wave on a particular tower, you're going to have to siege it down, siege down the durability. So, you know, this was the final attack I got in on the tower, did 219 damage, and then my other teams come in that are going to do siege damage. So this is 204 damage, 196 damage, 194 damage, and my other team has not captured the tower yet. So I'm 27. Let's just wait for that to count down and you'll see me capture the tower. And my DP jump up. So when you're starting Season 1, you probably won't be watching this video if you're in Season 2. But in Season 1, when you make your team, you're kind of, you know, you get what you get in terms of draws and whatnot. You know, you want to be running your dispatches. You don't want to die. You want to make sure you get your 2 clear bonuses and some crystals, and you know, say a prayer when you do your draws. Hopefully, you get some good cards, and use your silver tickets and make some friends so that you can click on their profiles and get your silver tickets that way, and use those to also get some cards. And by doing that, you'll hopefully have enough cards to make a team out of. And then you can go to the auction house and buy more of those cards that you need. Try to make a team out of beast units. Try to, you know, if you're having your beast team, get your burst range. I forgot to mention what teaches burst range. A giant worm, you can level that to level 3. Anything that has demolition power as a base skill, you level to level 3, it will teach burst range. So a rare salamander is already at level 3 demolition power, and so it's going to teach burst range right off the bat. You can get that from auction fairly cheap, although it's kind of harder to come by, especially at early season when there's not a lot available. Giant worm, you can level that to level 3 and teach that to your owlbear. You can level a lizardman lancer. That's base skill is demolition power. You can level that to 3 and then teach burst range. And I think Indiku, if I'm saying that right, his skill is Tyrant Power. It's a rare card, and at level 3, it comes at level 3. All rares do. It also teaches burst range. So there's a couple different options to get burst range. Not a lot of people go out looking for it early season, so it's very easy to acquire if you pay attention to the auction house and you know, get it before other people. And I think that's about it. I want to do another video and talk about, you know, what exactly to do early season. You know, we've talked about how to capture a tower and how to link land and walk, but we also want to do a video on actually, you know, what's the best approach to investing in resources and balancing that with monster count and everything else that you have to worry about early season. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you like it. And I hope you guys keep enjoying KC. Thanks.